It is 8:12:31. We are here with David Brown. Good morning, David. Thank you for coming again.
Well, we're eternally grateful for the support that WPKY gives us and the community as a whole. It's incredible the way that you all open up the voices, and I think it makes a huge difference. We probably don't tell you enough, but thank you.
Well, we do hear it a lot, and I appreciate the video. You can never hear it enough, right? You can never hear enough how you're doing a good job, right?
Yes.
But I've heard some very positive things that that.
Well, the building looks good, and for a guy that's tourism oriented, one of the first things that they're going to see is this curve, and they're going to run right into it, and so it plays a huge part. So thank you.
Hopefully not literally run right into
yes,
it.
Yes. I ought to back that up. You're right about that. I hadn't thought about that part, but
maybe, I don't know if that's ever happened before, but let's hope that it doesn't happen.
I don't know either. I was gone for so long. I don't know, but it really, as far as and that plays right into tourism, is that the better we look, the better face we put on, and the better impression we leave. I honestly believe that, and grateful to the code enforcement people for trying to clean up the community, and grateful for you and Beth and the whole crew, Todd, the work that's been done here. It makes a huge difference.
Well, not every community has a local radio station, so we're proud to be that for this community. And
like you and I were, you and I were talking, just before going on air. It gives the community a voice, and creates a narrative. How can we handle this? Well, I hadn't thought about that, but someone sent a message on Facebook and said, how about this? Because anyone that's in leadership would be a fool to think that they know more than the people that live, work, breathe, spend their money here. And so venues such as this are incredibly valuable to someone and our tourism commission for ideas, for feedback. And so thank you again.
All right. Well, what's the latest at the tourism center over there?
Well, I want to thank the community for their involvement. It's really been positive. If you go on social media on anything, the typical response is going to be the negative response. Unfortunately, most people tend to lean towards the negative. I really believe that Princeton has so many positives, and it's incredible to hear the positives and I suppose recommendations for improvements. So the community's been great. We've had a interaction with the community. We have some upcoming. As a matter of fact, today at our meeting at 12, we'll be setting our upcoming forums so that people can come and discuss what they like, what they don't like, what they think they need, and what they believe they don't. So that's one of the things that we have discussed in great length. We've had some officials from town. Excuse me.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, and it is, and it's early in the morning, but that have come and joined us, past officials, magistrates, council members, current council members, the new mayor, our former mayor, magistrates. It's really been a community-wide effort, and those voices have been greatly appreciated. We have, this is not a good-looking copy for you, but as far as the proposed projects that we were given and that the commission brought to the table, we have jotted most of those down, and began to whittle on them, if you don't mind me using that word, to see, okay, number one, is it feasible? Number two, does it draw people to Princeton and Caldwell County? And number three, is it something that will bring someone back? So we've gone through this list of projects, and last Monday labeled them a 1, 2, or 3. A 1 being something that we feel like that we can immediately address if the community and the council would pass the 3% restaurant tax, or the pennies for Princeton, the Community Development Initiative. The a 2 is a high priority, but not something that we can do immediately. 3 is something we would like to do if money were made available, but can't be done in the near future. So we've gone through all of these projects, and I'm happy to give you a list of these so that you can have the breaking story if you want. And so is that cool with you?
Yes, please. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's one of the things that comes up often is our festivals. You and Beth are familiar with the Ham Festival and Katie's, and so many people brag about, WKDZ, the role that you guys play over there, and how Katie's and Trigg County has done a phenomenal job building that festival. So our festival enhancements or promotion got a 1 and a 2, and so that was something that Mr. Joe Duncan brought to the table. He said, I would like, and I don't want to put words in Joe's mouth, but basically, why not build on some of the things that we already have that are successful, and promote those, come alongside those people. And so let me stop right there and say that the commission doesn't want to be in the business, given the opportunity and the resources. We don't want to be in the business of saying we're going to do this, and this, but not that. We don't feel like that's our job. One of the things that we have developed is a scholarship fund, for lack of a better word, a grant fund. So a percentage of that, and that's what we're going to deal with today, is of the proposed $300,000, a percentage of that will go in to a pot for grants. And let's say that Misty is bringing a band to town, and you love them, everybody else is going to love them, and they're glad to come, but you don't have $2,000 to advertise, promote, and all of that. So basically you write a proposal to the Tourism Commission and say, I'm bringing so-and-so, I don't know, Kid Rock. You're bringing Kid to town, and which I've already talked to his people. It's a really good possibility. But
really,
yes, that the thing is we have to have money to do these things. Mm-hmm. And if you do something that's successful, people will come and they will eat, they will shop, they will spend their money, they will stay. So festival enhancements is a top priority for the Tourism Commission. Tell me when you want me to stop, if you got to hit a break or anything.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Keep going.
You know how I do. Playgrounds at our parks. Now, it's an obvious debate that does this money is it used, should it be used to enhance our community, or is it for the sole purpose of tourism? Several of the proposals that we received were playgrounds, bathrooms at this park and so forth and so on, to enhance the quality of life here in the community. Now, none of us on the commission honestly think that park playgrounds are going to draw tourists, but it will enhance the quality of life, and the quality of life in return hopefully will impact the economy by possibly bringing new corporations, new businesses, those type things. Parks was the number one response on all of the summaries that we've read. So if we can enhance our parks, which is a passion of mine, obviously, with Youth Incorporated and the other entities that I'm involved with, but if we can enhance our parks, then we honestly think that it opens our doors wider for future businesses, and the more business we can help draw, the stronger our hand of cards is. Then tourism is a byproduct of those new businesses. So indirectly, tourism is accomplished if we make our parks as great as possible. So park playgrounds, and there's 3 parks that are listed here, and we've tried to put together an action plan to help make this possible. Park bathrooms and some facilities at the different parks, Dotson Park, the soccer complex, the City County Park. The other one on this was site signage of current assets, and such as add more Big Springs Cave Park, the different local parks, a future fairgrounds, downtown businesses. I don't know if this is a company name, Misty, or if it's a terminology, but like wayfinder signs that you would see in Hopkinsville or in Grand Rivers. They're obvious signs that are not the green and the white that point people in the direction of certain assets. So we've got that as a 1 on here. Bike trails and walking trails we thought would be a local enhancement. I went and walked the City County Park. A lot of people don't even know there's a trail out there. I was told that Matthew Rasnick, a gentleman from the community, did it as his Eagle Scout project. So I learned something. I had it on the list, but I went and walked out there, and the city guys have done a phenomenal job. It's a great asset to the community. Advertising funding was a number 1. Update Big Springs with bathrooms and lights, and adds more trail that would incorporate Big Springs, downtown Princeton, leading people to add more. Color brochures for different parts of the community. And I didn't get a 1 on my Ag Expo YMCA Sportsplex just because of the expense. Mm-hmm. But it's a part of this plan. And I might say this, and to stir the pot, if you would, and I'm good at it. Just ask my wife. Uh-huh. The longer we wait to enact this proposal, the more money that's lost. And other communities are building and doing right now. So the sooner that we can provide a plan with the help of the community, the sooner the council can act, and the sooner the council acts, the sooner we can get started.
Okay, so, and that is a lot to take in. So there's a lot of ideas, a lot of ways to go.
We got one more page.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
all right.
Not today.
Okay.
We're going to go over these today at our meeting, our next page. But
gotcha.
Those are the ones that are on the short list.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Those are big goals.
They are.
So when is a decision going to be made about now it's my understanding that you needed that in order for the council to make the decision.
Yes.
And so when is that? Is that at their next meeting?
No, I certainly, I don't want to put shackles on the council or on the mayor. It's totally up to the mayor and the council whether it's brought to the floor and voted on.
Okay.
I have been told that there's some other things for them that are higher priorities.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not. This is not personal to me. But the sooner that we act, the sooner we have funding to begin to do these things that are needed. And so some have said November, after they get next year's budget taken care of. Some have said maybe June, and I'm saying January, but it's
Sure.
It's not my call on that. I'll certainly leave that to our new mayor and the council itself. The sooner the better for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about, the last time you were here, I know there was a question about what's available right now, the funds that are available right now, how they were going to be used.
Right.
And has anything come from that yet? Have any decisions been made on that?
Well, we have, as a tourism commission, voted to approach the council to request funding for development. For instance, we need to develop a logo for the community. Princeton does not have a logo. We need money to develop a website. We have web domains that belong to the community, but they aren't used. So one of the things that we've had two different groups that have come to town sort of on an espionage effort or a recon effort, if you would. They come privately and they go into our stores. They go into our businesses. They go into our hotels. They stay in Princeton for a day and a half. And so we need more of these. A matter of fact, at our church, I've used it twice, but they come in and they give us feedback on these things. And so we've gotten really positive results as a community. They've been impressed, but they're saying, I don't know Princeton. I live in Chicago. And yes, I do drive to Florida for the winter. But I never have really thought about coming over to Princeton. And yes, I live in Louisville, and I travel back and forth between here and there. But so anyway, those groups have come in and give us feedback. Igniting Voices West Kentucky. We don't have a web presence. So one of the things, and I'll go ahead and throw this out to you too, because I just talk too much. But we're going to begin to join with you all, and as soon as they release the funds for us to pay you all, so that we can focus on, for instance, right across the street, West Kentucky Memorials. We're going to ask people to go on the web that particular day, one maybe a day, one maybe a week. Go on and give a positive review on social media that says, that's a great business. They were friendly. They really helped us. The Chinese restaurant out here, they do some advertising with you all. We could say we ate at the Great Wall Chinese restaurant, and it was really good. So if we can And everybody can get involved in that. That's literally free.
Right.
But it builds those businesses. And all of a sudden, if it starts popping up on these different web services as getting 300 good reviews, then other people start coming. And if somebody comes to eat at the Great Wall, then I'll almost bet you that they're going to stop in Tractor Supply, Falders, Walmart, and spend some more money here. So it's really simple. It really is. It's going to take all of us to do it. We need to get started. So we're going to approach the council about releasing money to start those web pages, to start the development of a couple of these other projects. If let's say playgrounds, then we've got to do some engineering. Mm-hmm. We've got to do some things that are going to require money to lay the foundation for it.
Okay. Well, David, I'm sure we could take up the whole time, but we are going to have to visit with our next guest. We will have you back, since you've got a meeting today. We'll have you back pretty soon to talk about how things went there.
Yeah.
And keep updated on this progress, what you've got going on. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you need to add?
Well, we're making progress. I want to thank the commission. And if you guys see any of these folks, I wish you'd say thank you. Thank you to Rick Lewis. Thank you to Sherry Jordan. Thank you to Allie Coleman. Thank you to Jenny Clark. Thank you to Becca Hughes. And thank you to Touche Desai. If you see them and you're for this, would you give them a little pat on the back and say thanks for your service, because they do a lot of work. And so thank you, Misty, for having us again.
Thanks, David. David Brown, Princeton Tourism. We're going to follow up real soon on this issue.